School directors of the Arlington School District, now part of the Southwest Vermont Supervisory Union, have faced the same challenges as their counterparts elsewhere around the state when it comes to a school budget proposal to place before voters at March town meeting. A combination of factors, ranging from disappearing federal dollars that helped fund some programs during the COVID pandemic, increases in other costs, especially in health insurance, a now abandoned 5% property tax cap that was part of Act 127, legislation that restructured the pupil weighting system, which measures the costs associated with teaching students from different backgrounds, and dramatic increases in property values, which have left many communities behind the curve when it comes to property appraisals and therefore seeing sharp upward pressure on property tax rates under the state's common level of appraisal formula. All these have combined to produce higher tax rates than many communities are used to seeing. Trying to thread the needle has been challenging for many school boards, including Arlington's. Board directors there met on January 31st to settle on a final proposal.
I don't know. I just don't feel like we have a choice. I still feel like asking for us 18-cent increase or 17 and change increase is a huge ask.
I feel like, 18 cents is a lot, and I would want to defend it.
Yeah.
But I don't think we can get it low enough to where it's going to make a difference. You know, if it was 8 cents last year, they're going to be like, well, why can't we do 8 cents? There's no way we can get to 8
No,
cents.
I mean, that's easily explained. You know.
But even saying like 14 cents, I think that's still going to be a hard sell.
Oh yeah, it is. Standing up there saying we've cut everything that we reasonably can cut without affecting the programs.
To have that be true, though, cutting the paraprofessional position could potentially impact program offerings. So if that is our approach, then...
And I would also say that if this budget gets cut, if it's voted down, going back with $100,000 more in cuts, they're going to laugh at us. We're going to have to come up with a lot more than that.
In the end, the school directors settled on a budget that calls for a little over $9 million in spending, an increase of about 11% compared to the previous school budget of $8.142 million. The projected tax rate will be about $1.63 per $100 of assessed property value, compared to the current one of a little under $1.49. We had a chance to talk with Todd Wilkins, the chair of the Arlington School Board, afterwards.
I mean, the bottom line is going to be a little over a 10% increase in spending. Like I said in the meeting, there's no like wasteful spending in there. Those increases are largely due to healthcare increase costs going up just shy of 17%, and giving raises to our staff. You know, we have some new positions being pulled in from grant spending last year, the ESSER funds. Those are in the mental health area, which we felt were extremely valuable to keep. They're imperative to our kids today. So those are about the only additions, you know, to our overall budget that's increasing that. So yeah, it's an increase by about 11% now. 148 is the tax rate this year. It's going to go to 163. It's the current proposed tax rate now. There's obviously, the legislature can make some changes by putting money into the ed fund, which will then increase our property tax yields, which will then decrease the tax rate. So we're very hopeful that will still occur, you know, and to save our taxpayers on the tax rate.
So, to be clear, I guess the main point you'd like to emphasize to voters who will pass judgment on this at town meeting is that this isn't the result of a massive increase in education spending. This is directly related to the common level of appraisal situation that so many other towns in Vermont are struggling with.
Yes, our CLAs are 80.16, which means that we're appraised at about 80% of what our fair market values are in the community, and that has a significant effect. If our CLAs were at 100, then our tax rate would be about $1.31. But because our CLAs are 80, that increases our tax rate to $1.63. That's the huge effect that CLA has on your tax rate.
So I'm assuming a lot of people are going to jump to the conclusion that this is a direct result of the COVID pandemic and people moving into town and properties being sold and for higher prices than
It is. It is. I hate to say that because I'm one of those people that says, okay, COVID's over, but we're still feeling the effects of it. Because fair market values of homes have skyrocketed since people moving here, driving the prices of homes up, as we've all seen. That raises the value of homes, that raises fair market values, but when you reappraise prior to that, your list value remains lower. So the simple version is we are about 80.16% of what our fair market values should be. That's what homes are list valued for from your town. That's the simplest way to explain it. And I think people understand that. So a reappraisal, if done appropriately and right, would bring your values up to closer to what fair market values are, which increases values of homes, but then which increases your grand list, which will then decrease your tax rate. So what we've decided tonight is to present this budget. What the legislature does from here on out has no effect on our budget, but will have an effect on tax rates. Our budget is what our budget is now, assuming the voters approve it. If the voters don't approve it, then we're gonna have to go back to the drawing table. The only thing that we can cut is our budget. We can't, and that's the only thing that we have any control over when it comes to tax rates. Everything else is up to the state when it comes to tax rates. We did not cut any programs. It was not an easy decision because we're so worried about the tax rates for our community members. But you sat through the meeting. People are very worried about that, but they're also very cognizant that we have very good schools here and we want to keep very good schools here. And the reason we have good schools is we have good teachers and we have good programs. And part of our discussion tonight was making sure that we're not going to affect those programs. And the budget that we bring tonight does not cut any positions and it does not cut any programs, any current positions. We did cut one current vacant position and one retired position, so it would technically be vacant in 2025. So they're not held by any individuals at this point. We've tasked our administrators with coming up with plans on how to fill those until we can work them back into the budget where we're not hurting our taxpayers.
The Arlington School Board will be holding a special informational meeting on Thursday, February 29th, starting at 6:30 p.m. at the Mack Performing Arts Center, to further explain the school budget and the factors influencing the projected tax rate before March town meeting. The situation remains fluid, however, with the state legislature grappling with ways on how they might lessen the education tax impact on communities. For the GNAT-TV News Project, I'm Andrew McKeever.